Okay, so we have our mind open here, and the idea is to model a generic character face. Something human-y. Something human-y. But of course, cartoony. We are going for something cartoony. Human headshot. So, character modeling fundamentals. Okay, I'm not being racist here, but I would prefer something African because we're going for maybe something which looks a bit familiar. And racism is not a thing so much for us here in Africa. But this is a human face. Now, there's nothing interesting about modeling a human face for animation. It would be wrong of you to model an exact replica of a face because 3D, like mock-up capture and 3D scans can do that really well, maybe for scientific purposes. In entertainment, that's not good for us. We don't really care. Unless it's for a game, maybe you're modeling a character which is for games. Game characters tend to be really human-like, human-like. They tend to look alike so much. But in animation, in most cases, when you're doing entertainment, animation adverts and animation films, you tend to make characters look cartoony. But they still base off the human anatomy. And the human anatomy, I told you, anything to be human, it should have eyes, a nose, and at least one of these things. Not all of them are to go. One or two, or one of them, or three of them. Then you stick some arms on it and legs, and you have something human. So meaning you can turn any object into a character. So you need to understand what anatomy looks like. And in that regard, you say character face modeling. So you find that what we are trying to go for is this sort of thing. From this, you sort of work out something like this. So you can see that some of these can be different programs. It can be Blender. It can be, I don't know, is this Cinema 4D or Blender? I don't know even what this is. But see, you find that these people, all of them, the fundamentals are the same. It's about flow, topology. It's about a proper flow. Make sure the lines are flowing. So this is a more realistic face, as you can see. These are used, as you can see, realistic facial features. These can be used in real films in case they need to fake some extras in the background. They model real characters. There are people who can do that really well. Then sometimes for medical animation or for scientific purposes, mostly when they need these faces. But for animation, for game, the characters can be sharp and realistic also, but still cartoony. But for animation, you're going to find that the characters tend to be goofy and like that. So for your first, it should be plenty to model at least a generic human face. That's what we're going to try to do. And of course, we're still going to work with shapes. I mean, polygons. And polygons. So of this, which one do you think would make a human head faster? Of these shapes, of these polygons. We looked at them when we were doing introduction. Of these polygons, which one do you think would make a human head faster?
The sphere.
The which one? The sphere. This one, eh? Okay. That's him. Anybody else? And what's your reason? Is that George or Dan? Daniel. Who said the sphere? George or Daniel? Or Dan? Come on, you're not wrong. Eh? There's no answer that's wrong at campus. Why do you think a sphere would be the best alternative?
Yes, it's me who said it, George here.
Mm.
I think because since the human head is already rounded and all that stuff, the sphere would just help us do it faster.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It is. Um, guys, yeah. What's your take on this? Mm. Mm. Yes, I think it's a sphere. Guys, I agree with you. I kind of had the same idea actually when I first tried to model a character, when I was just first introduced to modeling character. But I was explained, yes, you can actually make a human head out of a sphere, but as a geometry, it's a very difficult geometry to work with. And then when you look at a human face and a human head, look at it properly. George and Dan and those guys online, and you guys here, look at a human head. Is that really round? When you look at that anatomy closely, is that really round? George, are these heads, most of them, are they really, really round? Like, do they look really round?
Most of them are not round.
Mm. No, actually, most of them,
Well, most of them don't look.
actually, I think all of them.
Jacked off.
Look at them. I don't think any of these guys have anything round on them. Like, seriously, by the time you find somebody with a round head, it's rare. It's rare. Most human heads are not round. They're actually like a box. It's a box. So, anatomically speaking, yeah, I'm not just trying to read these people. Anatomically speaking, this square is the best option. Anatomically speaking. But if you're doing a generic sterilized head, yes, this can do. The problem with this shape is that it has this thing where it meets everything in the middle. So it can be rather intimidating to work with, and notice some lines are not that continuous. They don't go through. With anatomy, you want the line to flow from one end to another end, proper, like the way they flow around like that. So you find that because and the other thing is, it kind of goes and it kind of feels, it's curved on the end, this side. A human head does not do that very much. A human head has a bit of a square thing about it. It has, when you look at it from the sides, as the guy was in the sides here, look at him. Look at that. It's a box, literally. When you look at it closely, it's a box. So this is what we mean by character fundamentals. Study objects closely. Do not estimate that generically, I think a human head is round. That is not very scientific. And remember, your program is Bachelor of Science. There's also what's called the Bachelor of Science. It involves applying scientific methods. One of scientific methods is the observation. You should be able to observe things closely. You see, a water tank, most of you in your mind, you'll be like, I know what a water tank looks like. But if I told you to model it to detail, you'd realize you have missed a lot of details of the water tank. Even your own hand, getting to model it, you need to really look at it very closely. Very closely. Something. So when you look at a human head, it is, in most cases, we make it from this. This would be the best option, this one. The rest of these will not do the trick. This one. And to begin it, make sure Z is facing you. Z should be facing you there. Save if you must. Then get your polygon cube here and just click in the middle. Just click so that we have a perfect cube. When you just click and put there, it will pop up like this. This is what we call a square cube. because these boxes, each of them represents a square centimeter. So this is a square cube. It's 1 centimeter on all sides by default. But of course, we want our head to be bigger than that, so you can scale it out. As you can see here, these figures change. You can make it 12 or 13. I don't know why number 13 is weirdly like that. There. So the next thing would be to manually start adding some lines. Because a human head, if I went to my insert edge loop 2, which is in mesh tools, insert edge loop 2, if I went here and clicked on my option box here for adding lines, I can have multiple lines. A human head usually has a middle around the nose. The nose seems to be in the middle, so adding a line there and here would be a good starting point. And this is the way most people begin their characters. But I want to give you a sort of a shortcut, something which will help you go faster. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to something called smooth. I want to click on this smooth. When you smooth any object in any application, any program, the program automatically adds more lines. So I want to just smooth it once. See that? When I smooth it once, it automatically becomes a bit more rounded. It almost goes back to a sphere, but with more controllable lines. So, but at the same time, a human head is not necessarily round. I can choose to make mine a bit longer like that. I think some people have heads like that. I can decide to make mine a bit longer like that. And sometimes even make the lower bit here smaller if I wanted to. I can right click, go to vertexes, and I can decide to make it smaller, but I'm not going to do that for now. So let me just make it like that. Then I'm going to smooth a second time. I'm cheating, of course. I'm going to smooth a second time once. So you see that a face comes a bit closer now. I have a place to start working. Of course, it's cheating. Most people will sculpt from scratch, piece by piece, but of course, I'm cheating a bit. So I have my line here. Sorry, guys, I've even forgotten which side is the front. Everything looks so much alike. So I have my line a bit here, which is divides this halfway, and then I have my sides here. So now, when I press spacebar on my keyboard, I have these four sides here. These three sides to make this. So this is the top view, the front view, and the side view. So it's paramount that when you're modeling your characters, you make sure Z here is facing you. It should not be facing, it should not be X facing you. The head should be facing in the Z direction. This should be the front, so that these all read properly. So when I go to the side and press number 4, so that I can see through, I can adjust this. Now, I'm going to try to look for model sheets. Model sheets enable you to see a character's head from all sides, so that you can really get to appreciate the anatomy of a character. For example, if I look at this one, or if I look at this one, let me use this one. If you can look at this one, of course, it seems like it's a bit round up here, but it kind of becomes a bit smaller down here. And on the side, you find that it kind of slants a bit ahead, as you can see there. So at the moment, mine is not doing that very well. So what I'm going to do, I am going to extend some parts. I want this to be in the middle, so I'm going to just extend some parts ahead, the ones in front. I'm using vertices, so I'm going to just extend some parts ahead, but I want to leave this line as legit as possible in one place. Then I can extend these ones behind a bit, so that my character feels like a human. So we have a flat face here, a bit of a nose here, and then a bit of that mouth over here. Of course, the characters will look different most of the time. It will look different depending on what you're modeling. So I think we are okay there. Now, the next thing you want to do that is very important is to work out the eyes. And I think the eyes in this case will be around here. Not so? Guys, we're working on this together. Huh? I think the eyes will be around here. So I'm going to go right click, go to faces. The eyes will be around here and then there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with one side and I'm going to extrude this face. Use my scale tool to extrude a bit out like that. I don't want it to go in so much, but I think it's okay where it is. It's okay for the eyes to go a bit under, but not too much. Then I'll delete. Then I can go to edges and start kind of making these stand out a bit like this, to make them a bit round. Then I want to add a line in between here, an equal line. This is generic. It's a generic character head, meaning it doesn't look like any particular character. If you wanted it to look like any particular character, of course, we'd use model sheets. Now, how do I add a line exactly? So you can choose to add a line wherever you want. So you have to go to relative distance and choose to put a line wherever you want. But me, what I want to put a line exactly in the middle. So I'll go to multiple, turn to, if you turn this to 2, it will add 2 lines. But I don't want to add 2 lines. I want to add 1. So even if I click here, it will add it forcefully in the middle. That's why I switch it to use equal multiplier. Then I'll go back to vertices and or edges. Any of them can move, whatever you have to move, and then I'll sort of make sure it is a bit round like that. Okay, so I have one side of the eye figured out. Now I don't want to repeat that thing the other side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to faces and go to the front of my head, press number 4 to see through, cut off. I think that's now you see why I wanted this line to be exactly middle. I'll just cut off one side, which I haven't worked on, and I will mirror. There's something called mirror. I think mesh, there should be mirror here. You go to the options here, but the shortcut is here. There's a shortcut here. Double click and it will pop up. If it's not popping up because it is hiding somewhere, I have 2 screens, so I'll go to extend and I first pull it out. The guys here in class can tell that it has escaped the side, so I'll bring it back. Just a moment. Let me grab it and bring it back. Then I will switch back to duplicate. Okay, so this is what was supposed to pop up. So when it pops up, I have to figure out which side do I want to mirror. I want to mirror this side also. Which axis is this? Guys, if you have used the 3D program before, like Cinema 4D or Blender, you know what axes are. 3D programs have 3 axes. They have X, and Z. So which axis is this? I want to mirror this head this side. Which axis is this? Yes, because it's already here laid out for you. The red in Maya, I don't know what colors they are in Cinema 4D, but the red normally represents x-axis, green represents y, blue represents z. Do they have any colors in Cinema 4D, these things? Oh, you don't remember? They do have colors. So how do they color them? Because some of this stuff is pretty standard. Some of this stuff is pretty standard in all applications. So anyway, this is x-axis. So I want to mirror the head this side. So I'll switch it to. Sometimes by default it is. If I reset this by default, you might find it like this. So remove cut geometry from it. Geometry type. Make a copy of this. Mirror axis, you can leave it to world or you can change it to object, whatever works for you. Then X, and it's negative. I think the side is positive, the other side is negative. So I'll say apply. When I apply, it will just mirror, but it will join it together. Make sure the join is clean, nothing is weird. Just make sure nothing is weird. So I have a head. Let me save this. Generic head. So I have the eyes worked out, as you can see there. Should we continue? Okay, so I want to add some lines, of course, here, so that I can have room to change a few things. So I'll switch to this. I want to add them in the middle, but you can add them any place where you feel okay and comfortable. Though sometimes there's another helpful tool. When you go to modeling toolkit here, you have something called symmetry. So you can turn on the x-axis symmetry. That way, whatever you do one side, it will be done automatically the other side. For example, if I select these vertices and I do this, it will be done automatically the other side. So that's also very helpful. If I had a line here, it will also be at the other side. So it kind of saves me a bit of time. Understood? Okay. So let's start working out a few things. For example, you can go to vertices or edges. Sometimes whatever gets the job done faster is what I use. I can select this middle edge and I kind of pull it behind, because a face, I think, tends to dip in a bit around the eyes because of the nose, to dip in a bit here. Those guys online can't see me. Yeah, it tends to dip in a bit there. So I'll dip mine around there. You can take it further up or down depending on what kind of character you're creating. That's okay. And then you can move a few things if you must, but personally I don't think I have anything to move really very much, because this is a generic character. So I can just maybe pull a few things ahead. I can adjust a few things there so that I have more face. I just want to have more face, a more square face, because most human faces tend to look pretty, square in the face. So I want it to be a bit like that. You can take this back a bit if you must, but I will leave mine there. I don't think they have a problem. Number 3 enables you to check the smoothing. Now you can get, let me see if I need to take this a bit behind. Double click on this line, right click. I think sometimes I go through the things so fast. So to access edges, right click and hold on the object, go to edges, double click, select all of them around. Extrusion, we use extrude a lot in modeling as far as mine is concerned. Extrude, I can take this a bit behind so that it creates that inward flow. Then we did this on the fish. I don't want to do that though. Let me first leave it there. Then I can get these spheres here. I want to insert it in this eye so they can give me a sort of guide for the eyes. Insert them in the socket in there. Just make sure they touch. Just make sure they touch. They leave no opening. Then these eyes, I can go to rendering. I like to make them as realistic as possible so that I can see what I'm doing. Right click, go to faces and select off this part here. I'm just saving time. Select off that part there and apply a different shader, make it black. I can go down to cosine here. These ones you can leave if you don't know what we're doing. I just want it to be smooth like that, so that it feels like an eye. And I can just mirror this. Let me hope. Hope this eye is not coming out too much. Let me see if I can mirror this. Mirror. Yeah, seems to work. Okay. Though I feel like the eyes are so popping out. So sometimes what we can do, if the eyes feel like they're popping, we can go to scale and sort of flatten them a bit, like that. Huh? You guys have you seen that? Hello. Then we bring them back in, such that when we smooth, they don't feel like they're over popping out. So there should be a wrap around. You can turn on this wireframe on shaded to see how they're flowing, but in most cases you don't need it. Okay, now the next thing is the nose. Let's see, where is the nose? Touch your nose. So the nose is a bit of distance down here, but it comes all the way from up here, which we have already been working out a bit of a nose. I want to put this in a layer. Go to channel, layer, click on this icon here, create new layer, and I want to lock them. You can double click in that slash and say eyes, so that we know what they are. You can switch them on and off, but I don't want to select them, so that's why I lock them. This arrow means lock. Now we've been working out the nose as we've been coming along, and at this point I can start to maybe also cover this a bit, bring it a bit out. Remember, I have my symmetry on. Okay, that works. I'm pressing number 3 to check. Let me see if I can bring this a bit further out, and just like we did with the fish, you can make sure this is happening. Whatever I do this side is also happening the other side, because I have symmetry on. So I want this character to be, the eyes to be covering in a bit. A bit like that. Okay, that helps a bit. Then their sockets. Yeah. Then the socket. Okay, so let's look at the nose. So the nose is supposed to be down here. You can decide how far you want it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a line down here in the middle. I want it in the middle. So then I can add another line. Another line maybe about, I want a small nose. So I may add a line here, which is going to go all around and come back through here, which is okay there. Should I add more lines here? I don't know how big the nose should be, but I think I'll add another line here, there. Or what some people do, actually, yeah, adding a line will do the trick. Let's just add a line. So I'm adding them exactly in the middle. So I select these two things and I extrude the nose. So should I extrude the nose from here or from there? I don't know. Let me first try it from here. From what I have, the nose has a bit of a distance, but this is this guy. But most Africans, our noses are they are there. Let's see. Okay, so it could be in the middle. They have what? A small dredge. Eh? Okay, so let me see. Will the nose be here? Eyes here. Nose is pretty close, eh? Maybe we should go for these two. I'm not sure. Okay, we can experiment. Extrude and pull this nose out. Is that nose too down, too high? It's fine? Are you sure? The one which is up. This one. Like we make two. No, and what we're going to do is I want to scale. Let me first remove this symmetry. I want to select these two faces, scale them a bit in, as you can see there. Then I start pulling a few things like this. Edges, I mean vertices. See that? See that, guys? So I don't know, is the nose far down or too much up? Hmm? It's too what? It's in the right place? Okay, fine. Yeah, you have to ask yourself these questions. Now I can put back my symmetry to assist me. I don't want to overwork myself. So nostrils come out from there. You can really spend time on this nose as much as you want. I am not going to do that. All I'm going to do is that I might add some lines, maybe in the middle here. And you want some room for it to wiggle. But yeah, I might just leave it there. Okay. Edges. Sometimes I'm switching between those things a bit too fast. You let me know if I'm going a bit too fast. So we shall come back details. The first stage is to have a simple shapes. You first go for simple shapes, then after you come back and adjust. I don't want to overdo anything at the moment. So sometimes it's also nice to pass a line in between this nose to make it stand out a bit more. So I might add one line in between here, exactly in the middle. I want it in the middle there, so that it's able to hold those faces. Use a move tool and do that. You can go to the sides and see what you're doing. I think we're doing pretty well. Now this, I think, is supposed to be down. Okay, after the mouth, I think we can start putting it down. Let me first pull this a bit up here, this jawline. Okay. I'm using vertices to make his face a bit longer. A bit longer. A human face is usually flat, a bit somewhere in the nose. Okay, what else are we pulling out? I think for now, let's leave that. Now, let's see how to work out this mouth. Now, for the mouth, how far is it down? It's just a little headways. So, what I'm going to do, I am going to go to something called the mouth cut tool here in Modeling. This tool here called mouth cut tool. People are not noting, but I guess your heads are good cover because I am recording, screen recording, that's okay. This mouth cut tool, I think you can find it in edit mesh or mesh tools. It's here, mouth cut tool, but the shortcut is here. So you can get it from there. So what it allows you to do is to draw lines at different angles. So I can draw from here, although that's too high. Click and drag, then come there, press enter, then I'll come here, if I'm not mistaken. So go back to human anatomy. So a face, a mouth would be a little headways out from the nose. The nose will be in the middle, but the mouth will slightly go off a bit. I think we can go from here, to here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe to here. It's fair. From there to there, but I feel like it's not cutting it well. Maybe from here to here. That tends to be a little better, I guess. And then let me see. We want 4 lines. These are 3 lines. I don't want that at all. We want 4 lines. By the way, guys, always have 4 sides when you're modeling characters or faces. So I feel like I want it here. Yes, I want it there. It should be 4 lines. That's okay. And then I will delete out the faces and bring these in a bit. I think like that. Oof. Bit like that. Let me see. A bit like that. Now let's get this right. So the upper lip is higher than the lower lips. So this should be a bit in words like that. Sorry? Of course, there are different kinds of lip, but we said we are doing a generic character. Yes, something generic. I think I can come back to that later. So, and the first pass of the character, before you do additional lot of stuff which is additional, the first thing to do is first do a general flow. And then I'll go to edges, double click on them. Actually, let me remove this guy. And I will extrude. Where is extrude? Here. inside. Inside, and then I think I'll do it again, extrude again, and pull them a bit further inside, but this time scale a bit. Okay, then I might also want to add another line to hold these faces. I might start from here. Oh, sorry, I need my my symmetry on so that I can draw properly. Here and here. I have to begin here. Hope they're not. That's not too far. Then here. From here to here to here to here and here and then here. And that's okay, but we have something weird there. I don't want those four-sided things, those three-sided things. I don't usually want them. They don't do well. They don't do well, they don't do well, they don't do well. How do we remove them? How do we remove them? These are 4, but these are not 4. Okay, I think I know where the issue is. Yeah, we might need to add some more lines. We need to add some more lines. First, undo this. We need the line here. I don't know, can we add a normal line? Okay, it is stopping just about there. It's even too far. I don't want to be too far, so double click, go to relative. I want it to be a bit closer. So that when you bring here, you can stop it here. Either way, I think adding lines may not be as savvy as we thought. Avoid adding lines at any cost unless it's pretty much necessary. Let me first bring this back out, go to faces and drag some of the stuff down. Get edges, this edge. I want to bring this mouth a bit close. Shift select them. Close. Then I am going to move these vertices a bit up so that I reveal this sort of thing here, and then this one down a bit to create a sort of a lip. Then I can keep bringing these ones a bit out. Oh yes, oh yes. So I think instead of adding lines, I was supposed to just first do this. So this is where you start creating African lips, those big ones, eh? Guys, am I being a racist? African people, you have big lips, which is okay. Actually, they are really nice. Okay. I think it's working out. You need to go back and look at this video again in order to know how I pulled that out. Now, do we have some extra stuff in here? Go to edges. I want to pull this edge a bit out. like that, and like that. Let me leave it in there. I think it's this part here. So this code sculpting, guys, it doesn't have shortcuts. It has some shortcuts, but not the ones you guys might want. Double click and first remove symmetry. Extrude. I want to add an extra line of extrusion inwards. I can go inside the character. I can pull it a bit inwards, scale it in the middle. This will later on act as our throat, so you can face it down, rotate it a bit to face down. Like that. So it should be facing down there. Okay, so these lips, you can make them in whatever way you want. Oh, sorry. Don't forget to save. Turn my symmetry back on. Object X, so that you don't over suffer. So depending on how big these lips should be, you can bring them out, really out. Oof. Oh yes, I forgot, actually also we can bring them a bit out like this. Guys, am I on track or not? Is it working or it's not working? Sorry. Okay, I could add some lines, maybe 2 of them. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because these characters, when you model them, too seems too much lines. Let me first do one. Oh, sorry, there. Let me first do one. So one of the signs that a character is clean is that whenever you add lines in certain areas, it will go around clearly or cleanly. Let me go for edges and keep pulling my lips out. How do you like my lips? So when I smooth, sort of feels like that. Yeah, he looks like, oh, I don't know, but I think we might need an extra line here to kind of work that stuff out. I might need to bring this up a bit and this one a bit down a bit to be as if closing up those lips a bit. Okay, now remember that line I wanted to put? I really need to add that line so that I can work out those lines. I need a line there. I don't know if by just adding a couple of lines it will do the trick or not. I am not sure. But let me just add a line anyways. I don't want to add more lines. This is already not continuing. This one's continuing. And the other is not continuing. Okay. There should be a line here continuing this side. Such that I think this line should have been joining here. But for now, let's get this and add it here with our cut tool, such that we work out our lips here want to work out our ellipse a bit there. Between some more lines again here. I don't know if we can just dodge them by just drawing something like, hey, it is not continuous. Seems like I can't avoid. 1, 2, 3. I don't want this space. It seems like I can't avoid it now. Let me see. Can I add a line in between? See, it's not continuous because of this. The lines should be able to flow around. I'll need to work something out. Maybe. Yes, I think I get the idea now. Observe, guys. Let me get my multicut tool. This one, I'll draw from here to here and end it here. That way, let me see, can this line go around? Still going the other way around. It's not going around. It is 4 lines, but they're a menace. They're a menace. Vertices, they're a menace. Actually, our time is up, guys. Our time is up. I want this character to have, the reason why I want these contours is for us to, they'll act like muscles. You get? They'll act like muscles for the character when the character is talking. Like, those lines help to move the flesh. But it seems like people are switching down, so let me, I think, stop here for now. I don't want people to faint. I don't want people to faint. If I stop there for now. Let's first stop here for now. I think this is plenty of getting the character moving. We are getting there. It's still generic, but plenty. Generic but plenty. Generic but plenty. So this kind of topography is what I was showing you the other side. That kind of topography. So we're trying to get that type of photograph. As you can see, these people put them in color here. Yeah, it can be daunting sometimes, but eventually you learn to work it out. As you can see there, you learn to work it out. You start slow, then you work it. You work it out. That's topology. You work it out. We shall get there slowly. All right, let's stop here for now, and we'll take a breather.